Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Roger Stone, political legend, best dressed man in America, saw presidential prospects in President Trump. Gosh, when President Trump was like 30 years old, he saw this guy as a future president of the United States, longtime consultant, advisor, and friend to President Trump, and to many more, actually. Roger Stone, welcome back. How are you? It's Memorial Day.
Which is a great time of year, Greg, because as you know, we can break out the seersucker, we can break out the madras, we can break out the linen, we can break out the two-toned spectator shoes. This is my favorite time of year when it comes to men's dressing. And as you know, I have just introduced my new spring-summer line of custom men's clothing at very gentle prices, I might add. You can go to RogerStoneSuits.com and check out the new line.
RogerStoneSuits.com. I'm there right now. I'll tell you a couple of things right off the bat. The presentation of the clothes look gorgeous, and the presentation of the clothes is amazing. If you go to Paul Stewart, if you go to some of the nicest places, when they put the suits on the mannequin, they're all rumpled and weird. Yours are perfect, absolutely perfect. Why is it that who determined that we can wear white after Memorial Day and we're supposed to put it away after Labor Day? Where do they come up with that?
I'm not sure what the origins of the rule is, but it is sacrosanct. When I see somebody wearing a seersucker suit, before Memorial Day, even in Florida where it's hot, it's just not right. We offer it, interestingly enough, in 3 versions. You can have a 2-button single-breasted version. You can have a 3-button single-breasted version. We call that 3 rolled to 2. And we also have an amazing double-breasted version. That's my favorite. Go online and try to find that anyplace else today, and it's virtually impossible to find. So, look, a lot of men still have to work in the summertime. In the old days, the Indian government considered Washington, D.C. a hardship posting because of the humidity. New York City is, a very hot spot in the summertime. A lot of guys still have to work. A lot of guys still want to look good. This new line, we learned a lot in our first season. Really tried to bring prices down to make everything more affordable. Of course, you're dealing with cotton, linen, less expensive fabrics for the summer spring season. But I really think we've put together a very tasty collection. And I would point out to you, Greg, the same necktie that'll cost you $185 over at Ralph Lauren will cost you $85 here at the Roger Stone site.
Roger, I am so impressed. I really am. This is a beautiful website, beautiful clothes. And all right, a couple of things here. I see 2 things I want right off the bat. I want the what do they call it? The Hamptons jacket, which is double-breasted, kind of cream-colored. I've always wanted something like this. Now, let me run this by you. Because of President Trump, the fat shot is available to everybody pretty much. It's radically reduced. So if you are overweight, like I am, but I'm rapidly losing because I'm on Zepbound, I'm excited about wearing nice clothes again. When you aren't at your best, sometimes you don't want to. You want to kind of conceal. You don't want to walk proudly. At least me, sometimes. I can't wait to put on clothes and feel great again, and I'm very, very close. What does it do for a man when he's wearing quality clothes that catch the eye and people take notice? What does it do for your brain?
Well, if you go to my rules book, Stone's Rules, which has, I'm glad to say, a great introduction by my friend Tucker Carlson, one of my rules is look good, feel good. The way you're dressed is the way you present yourself to the world. You're much more likely to close that business deal. You're much more likely to get that contract. You're much more likely to be successful based on people's impression of you. Now, one of the most important things here is there's a very light gray pair of trousers. Those trousers go with every single jacket in the collection. So there's like a light blue jacket, there's a coral colored sports jacket, there's a cream colored sports jacket. You mentioned that beautiful double-breasted cream colored jacket. Those trousers are designed to go with every one of them. So, and then of course we have a collection of dress shirts as well. So this is like a perfect mix and match, meaning everything in the collection goes with everything else. And then for the first time, we have our own suspenders, what the British call braces, because a great trouser begins from the shoulder, not the waist. So it's really designed so that everything in the collection goes with everything else. And then we've produced the navy blue blazer again, but in navy blue linen for the season, so it's not too heavy.
Roger,
single or double-breasted.
I'm looking at it right here. I think this is called the Boulevardier. Boulevardier.
Yes, correct.
This is so interesting. It's like a little bit higher. The break, I don't know what you call it, but where you can see the shirt, that happens a little bit higher, and it looks a little bit more formal and a lot cooler. All right. These are great. RogerStoneSuits.com, RogerStoneSuits.com. And by the way, tell us a little bit about how President Trump dresses. And here's another reason why we should step it up. That man, I see him in two outfits, suit and tie or golf attire. I don't think I've seen him in anything else in years. And that's powerful.
Very, very rare do you ever see him, with a dress shirt and a jacket, but not a tie. And of course, he's the guy who invented the red power tie, which he still uses on key occasions. He used to be a Brioni man. Now I think he has his clothes made in the United States. But it's a bit of a uniform, but that's not a bad thing. Andrew Biddle Duke was a famous diplomat from the Philadelphia main line. He basically had one suit, one shirt, one tie, one pair of shoes. The point is, he had 40 pairs of them. It was a uniform for him, but it always looked good. So once you figure out what you look best in, nothing wrong with sticking to that. But we've given you many options here today. Once again, you can go to RogerStoneSuits.com and check it out. We really opened the new site this morning at 10 a.m., and already business is brisk. As for fit, there's two different ways to do that. You can give us your sizes online. You can measure yourself and send that in. We also have a computerized system. But beyond that, we will also send somebody to your home or your office to take your measurements anywhere in the country. And it's usually a beautiful woman, but not always.
Well, Roger, this is a fascinating. It's great. RogerStoneSuits.com. There's one other jacket I want to tell you about, and folks, you can stay with me on this. It looks a little bit. It's a little bit like a safari guy might wear. It's called the Riviera jacket. It's a single-breasted 3-button jacket, but it's got it's tannish cream, and it's got 2 pockets with flaps on the breast. Usually you have one on one side, but actually it's both sides. And I've always wanted a jacket like this. It's a little bit bold. It's a little bit, possibly not eccentric, but basically a rich person would wear this, because it would take some extra confidence to wear this, but it's special. It looks like something a Hollywood director might wear. And it also looks like something Greg Kelly would wear. I want to get this. And by the way, though, the one thing I'm a little bit unclear, it's got a kind of a floppy bow for a belt. That is even extra panache. What's up with the floppy bow?
This is an experiment. It is based on a 1930s a photo of Errol Flynn wearing this exact jacket. So I had it knocked off from that. It's very rakish. There's no question. Greg, I think you look great in this. You have to give it a shot.
Roger, I want to ask you a little bit about politics. The fake news is in overdrive. I did a comparison, what they were talking about 4 years ago and what they're talking about now. Gas prices were higher 4 years ago. They were over $5 a gallon. And I've profiled all the morning shows on Sunday and the evening shows. And guess what they were talking about 4 years ago? January 6th. January 6th hearings. January 6th hearings. Not a word about the gas prices. We have lower gas prices now, and they're beating people about the face and breast, chest, neck, and head with these gas prices. And I just don't see this as dire as they want us to believe. But now it's the danger of the fake news. It's all presentation. And I think things are going great, but they are desperate to portray things negatively.
I agree with that. Plus, they bury some of the most shocking news. So we learned yesterday, your colleague, Catherine Herridge, great journalist, determines that the working group that Tulsi Gabbard was headed, studying the outcome of the 2020 election, studying the security of the electronic voting machines, looking into the paper ballots that appeared out of nowhere at 3 o'clock in the morning in 3 different states. That working group was being spied on by the CIA. They were monitoring their computers. They were monitoring their phone calls. They were monitoring their text messages. That's a serious problem. That's Watergate material right there. Yet that story gets buried. And then you have people that I just don't understand, people like Laura Loomer, who seems driven to drive Tulsi Gabbard, who I think is a great woman and a great leader, the woman who declassified the Russian collusion hoax documents, so we know it was a fraud, the woman who declassified the 2 phony impeachment documents, so we know it was a fraud, the woman who's now in charge of studying the integrity of our elections. Why would you want to drive someone like that out of government? Seems to me like that is one of the president's very best appointees.
Yeah, no, that Loomer has really kind of lost it seems like, and maybe compromised. I don't know what the hell's going on there. So going into the summer, you sense this Iran war thing is going to be wrapped up soon?
I certainly hope so. This was a detour I wasn't counting on. The Republicans have a huge financial advantage going into the elections. We have, about $6 billion raised so far. I think we'll raise $10 billion before it's over. The Democrats are still in debt from the Kamala Harris fiasco. Redistricting, which if you'd asked me a month ago, Greg, I would have told you it would be a disadvantage. Now, based on 2 Supreme Court decisions, the one that says you cannot use race in your making up your redistricting map, and the one throwing out this outrageous attempt to steal, 10 out of 11 seats in Virginia. I now think that redistricting works to our advantage. I think we could pick up as many as 19 seats in the South alone.
Wow.
Plus, you pick up, you pick up in Tennessee, for example. You pick up in Florida. I'm optimistic about the midterm elections. I do want to see gas prices go back down. I think that's an important element of what we need to see. We do need to see food prices go back down. Sooner the president can come to conclusion on this war, the better. On the other hand, they keep sending us a peace proposal that allows them to have nuclear weapons. And I can just tell you, I've known Trump's views on this since 1988. That is never going to happen.
Hey, one other thing about these gray pants that you were talking about that goes with everything, the Westminster trouser. You know what I really like about these? They are beltless. They're not even belt loops, but they got these side cinches to tighten the pant. It is a very, very, very cool look. And if you guys saw this on the street, you may not notice it. You would notice that there's something cool going on. You wouldn't necessarily be able to put your finger on it. But it's the Westminster trouser. I'm very excited about this, and I will be a customer, maybe even your top customer. It's Roger Stone Suits. RogerStoneSuits.com. You guys just went live with this. It was updated, and I think it's going to be a huge hit. RogerStoneSuits.com. Congratulations, Roger.
Thanks, Greg. I think you look great in all of this. I look forward to seeing you wearing it.
All right. To be continued. I can't wait.